All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're putting two absolute giants of the web into the ring for a showdown. In one corner, you've got the reigning champ, HTTP, and in the other, the speedy challenger, WebSockets. We're going to see who wins in a battle for speed, for efficiency, and really, for the future of the live, real-time web.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a live chat or maybe watching a stock price just tick up and down and wondered how those messages or updates pop up instantly? I mean, you're not hitting refresh, right? It just happens. Well, that little bit of magic, that's exactly what we're talking about today, and it all comes down to the big difference between these two technologies.
Okay, the best way to get your head around this is with a simple analogy. Think of HTTP like sending letters in the mail. You write a request, you send it off, you wait, and eventually a letter comes back with an answer. Every single interaction is a brand new letter. But WebSockets, that's like a phone call. You make the connection just once, and then you can just talk back and forth freely until you decide to hang up. See the difference? One is a series of one-offs, the other is a continuous conversation.
So, keeping that idea of letters versus a phone call in mind, let's properly meet our two contenders. They both get information where it needs to go, but how they do it? Well, it's totally different. First up, in this corner, we have old reliable itself, HTTP. That's Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This thing is the absolute foundation of the web. Every time you've ever typed a web address and hit enter, you were using HTTP. It's a master of the simple request-response game. You ask for something, you get something. Simple, sturdy, and it's been running the show for decades. And in the other corner, we have the challenger, WebSockets. This protocol was literally built to solve the problems HTTP has with real-time stuff. It's the one that opens up that persistent phone line between you and the server, which means either side can send information whenever they want. No new requests needed. Okay, introductions are done. It is time for the main event. We're going to put these two head-to-head across 4 rounds, 4 key metrics to really see who comes out on top when you need performance.
And let's get right to it. Ding, ding. Round 1 is all about latency. Now, latency is just that annoying delay, right? It's the time you have to wait before anything actually starts moving.
And wow, just look at that difference. It's night and day, right? With HTTP, you have that delay every single time because it has to set up a new connection for each message. But WebSockets, the line is already open. So it's no surprise. This is a clear knockout victory for WebSockets in round 1. The latency is just so much lower. So yeah, that's the whole game right there. Latency is that initial wait time. And because that WebSocket phone call is already connected, just waiting for somebody to say something, the data moves almost instantly. HTTP has to pick up the phone and dial the number every single time. All right, on to the next round. This time, we're talking CPU usage. Basically, how much brain power does the server have to use just to manage all these conversations?
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. To fake real-time with HTTP, you have to do something called polling. That means the browser just asks the server again and again and again. Anything new yet? How about now? Now? And all that constant asking just hammers the server's CPU. Meanwhile, that one single WebSocket connection is just chilling, barely using any brain power at all. I mean, think about what it takes to set up a new, secure connection. There's all this back and forth, these security handshakes. It's a lot of work. Doing that over and over just for tiny little updates is a huge waste of energy for the server. WebSocket just does all that heavy lifting one time at the beginning.
Okay, let's see how they do in round 3, memory. We're looking at how much RAM the server has to dedicate to keep all of this running.
And you guessed it, it's a very similar story. Look, a single HTTP request isn't a big deal, but when you have thousands of people all hitting the server at once, it has to keep track of every single one of those letters, and that just eats up memory. The one WebSocket connection is way leaner. Yeah, it all comes back to that overhead. Every one of those HTTP connections needs its own little space in the server's memory until it's done. But that one WebSocket phone call, it just needs one spot. When you're dealing with a massive number of users, that makes a world of difference. All right, here we go. The final round of our technical throwdown, network traffic. We're not just talking about your message, but all the extra baggage that comes with it. And this right here says it all. You see that big dar for HTTP? That's because every request is packed with what we call headers, all this extra info about your browser, cookies, you name it. WebSockets, though, just a tiny little wrapper around your actual data. The difference is just huge. And this is a really big deal for things like online games, where you're sending tons of tiny updates every second. With HTTP, the headers can actually be bigger than the message itself. It's like sending a shoebox just to mail a postage stamp. WebSocket sends all that bulky stuff once, and then it's just pure, lean data back and forth. It's another clean win.
So, after a performance like that, you might be thinking it was a total knockout. Is HTTP done for? Well, not so fast. It's not about one being better than the other always. It's about picking the right tool for the right job.
Let's just look at the tail of the tape. In our head-to-head matchup for real-time performance, it was a clean sweep, no question about it. WebSocket took every single round: latency, CPU, memory, and network. It's the undisputed champ of real-time.
So this all boils down to a pretty simple choice. If what you're building needs that instant back-and-forth data, we're talking chat apps, live online games, financial tickers, then WebSockets is the clear winner, no contest. But if you're building a more classic website, like a blog or a news site or an online store where a user just asks for a page and gets it, then good old HTTP is still the perfect, most reliable tool you can use.
And that kind of leaves us with a big final question to chew on. As everything we do online becomes more live collaboration, live notifications, live everything, is the old model of just asking and waiting finally on its way out? Is the long reign of HTTP, the absolute king of the web, finally being challenged for the throne? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.